DSS 05, managed security services. Process description, that's fine. Then you have got process purpose statement, minimize the business impact of operational information security vulnerabilities and incidents, IT related goals, related metrics, process goals, network and communication security needs and that sort of thing, related metrics. And then it comes to activity, RACI chart. So you have got So after defining everything, they also suggest related guidance, and that's where they talked about ISO 27002 Code of Practice and NIST SP 853. So for all the DSS 05, after defining every process, every detailed activity, roles are a RACI chart, and they do not restrict themselves to this. They say related guide CIDSS, you start using PCIDSS. So you remember the session taken by Rajiv? This is what he was talking about, that COBIT gives reference to ITIL processes, ITIL gives reference to COBIT processes, similarly COBIT gives reference to ISO 27001. I don't think ISO 27 has done that, but that's a different standard. But this is the way you are able to link various standards. Now this is what COBIT does for information security related 3 specific practices. What does COBIT for information security does? And I'll just show you that. In that one single book, they have got all these processes. They have not tried to duplicate everything that was done in COBIT5 document, enabling processes. They have not changed the process description. They have not changed the process purpose statement. They have talked about security specific process goals and metrics, in addition to what is there in COBIT. So you have got information security governance systems is embedded in enterprise. What are the matrices for that? Assurances obtained over the information security governance systems. What are the matrices for that? So in this manner, you have to refer to both the documents. Here again, security specific activities in addition to COBIT5 activities. So you realize that any process that you look at, every process, COBIT5 has the generic requirement, and when you are implementing information security, you need to have specific information security related activities. For example, in COBIT5, you would not have these. Obtain senior management commitment to information security and information risk management. Mandate an enterprise-wide information security function. Mandate an information security steering committee. Formation of an information security steering committee is a specific requirement. Implement hierarchical information decision education process, escalation procedure, align information security strategy with business strategy, foster an information security positive culture and environment. So you can go through each of these processes and you will find there is a specific information security related guidance that has been given in COBIT5 for information security. Now let's look at the next part. So what is the enabler 3? By now this should be by-hearted by you. Enabler 1 was principles, policies, framework. Enabler 2 was this is a chart, and they have got much more detail. Now in this chart, they are defined whom should the security function or individual position should be reporting. Disadvantage, information risk may not be addressed due to technology directions taking precedence or information security. He might not even bother, because for him the priority is making sure that all the functionality and technology, even if the technology is risky, when the information security officer says don't do that, he says no, that's what the customer wants, I need to use it, don't overrule me. And after all, his increment is in the hand of CTO, he is not going to. Similarly, should he report to whatever, chief information officer. So for everything, the advantages and disadvantages. It's a very good chart. So anytime there is a debate in the organization whom somebody should report, you would probably be able to refer to that. Right. Next is culture, ethics and behavior. Now culture, ethics and behavior, they have again defined. One is organizational ethics. What are the values of the organization? And what are the individual ethics? What are the values of the individual? And how do you inculcate these values? Right? So leadership. So one of the major factors that can influence more than ethics are the behavior. So for information security, what behavior you have to build in the organization? Now start thinking about it. Information security is practiced in daily operations. Behavior number 1. Behavior number 2, people respect the importance of information security policies and principles. Behavior 3, people are provided with sufficient and detailed information security guidance and encouraged to participate in challenge of current information security situation. Behavior 4, everyone is accountable for protection of information with the enterprise. Behavior 5, stakeholders are aware of how to identify and respond to threats to the enterprise. Behavior 6, management proactively supports, anticipates new information security innovations, communicates this to the enterprise. The enterprise is receptive to account for and deal with new information security challenges. Behavior 7, business management engages in continuous cross-functional collaboration to allow for efficient and effective information security program. Behavior 8, executive management recognizes the business value of information security. Now, if you start mapping these behaviors with your organization or any organization, whom do you expect these behaviors to be demonstrated first? Who should be demonstrating these behaviors? Top level, right? If top level demonstrate these behaviors, so that's why the leadership is the first one, and they follow these principles, they demonstrate this behavior, automatically it will percolate down to the lower level. Now just think of it. Stakeholders are aware of how to identify and respond to threats to the enterprise. This is the behavior. Do you conduct fire drills in the organization? Why do you conduct fire drills in the organization? So that stakeholders are aware of how to identify and respond to threat to the enterprise, right? Does the top management who are in the corner cabin on the 16th floor participate in the drill? Do they come down by a staircase and not use an elevator? Do they tell people, go ahead with that drill and report to me how successful it was? I have got an important meeting, I have an important call. See, if they demonstrate that behavior, would the VPs, senior VPs, general managers, etc., won't they think that this is a demonstration of importance? Not necessarily a behavior that I have to demonstrate, so that everybody down the line understand this is the responsibility, right? So that's why we had talked about earlier, all this organization culture is built by behavior. If you demonstrate the behavior at the organizational level, then it gets at the individual level, and then you start building the behavior. How many top management regularly remember their passwords, change their passwords, don't tell their secretaries to log in on their behalf and do everything themselves, right? So that is the sort of behavior. That is one reason why security implementations fail. So this is a very good sort of insight that they have given in the behavior, which will lead to building a security culture. And this is the requirement of leadership, influencing behavior through communication, enforcement, rules and norms. Behavior through incentives and rewards, influencing behavior through raising awareness. And this leadership has to be demonstrated at 3 levels. They identified those. First level is information security management. You and me who are responsible for managing information security. Then it is the business unit management. Because it's not information security, not only the information security professional's job. It is also the business people who should demonstrate that leadership, and executive management, which is the top level, who in turn should show that leadership, and this should be enforced through these various means. Now it doesn't mean that you only enforce through this, or give incentives, not necessarily monetary incentives. It may be incentives for a department which is displaying the best security behavior and influencing behavior through raising awareness. So creating that, influencing that behavior is a major requirement. Any questions on this? Does it look required? Does it look a requirement? Now let's look at the next part, information. Maybe I have taken a wrong page number. It will pick up too many things. Information enabler. Yeah. So in information enabler, they have come out with a detailed template. What are the different information items? All the strategy, budget, policy, and so on. And who are the stakeholders? And then who is expected to be, instead of RACI, they have used a different terminology. They have used this terminology called approver or originator, destination of information purpose, and destination information consumer. So who is the approver, who is the originator, what is the destination, end destination where the information is being used, and the destination where the information is being consumed, I and you. So each item in your organization, you can use this template and identify who is the approver and so on. Right? So that's what is the, then for strategy, the goal, life cycle, good practices. Then you have got budget, again goals, life cycle, good practices, security plans, life cycle, good practices, and so on, information security requirements. So each item they are defined in great detail. Right. Okay, so that was information. What's the next enabler? What's the next enabler? Anybody remembers? Configuration management, right? Quality goals, there is an accurate, complete and up-to-date configuration of all assets under configuration management. What are the metrics? So detailed metrics on which to evaluate whether this configuration management service is being provided properly. Information security awareness, right, security development, and so on and so on. So excellent reference table for ensuring that you are getting the right quality of service and you are able to deploy right matrices for that. Right. So what is the next attribute? Enabler? Seventh enabler, last enabler. Yeah, that's the easy one. Yeah. So what are the skills, competencies that you require in the organization? You need to have skills, competencies, etc. Information security governance, information security strategy formulation, risk management, security architecture development, security operations, assessment, testing, and compliance, right? And for knowledge, technical skills, behavior skill related infrastructure. So tomorrow you want to make sure that your top management are aware about information security governance. You refer to this table and start looking at, is somebody competent to provide them this sort of skills so that they are able to do their job of governance properly. So let's quickly look at what is it given there. Information security governance, skills description, definition, experience required, qualification, CISM, our certified information security manager, right? Knowledge, what you require for that. let's look at something information security strategy formulation. What you require for strategy formulation? Several years of experience in information security and IT business management recommended, including experience in information security strategy and governance, experience in creating, implementing strategies, principles, practices, activities, broad understanding of all information security functions. Qualification, you must have a CISM for that. Knowledge, understand enterprise culture, values, define information security strategy, knowledge of security trends, services, disciplines, technical skills, behavioral skills. So tomorrow your HR department wants to come out with an advertisement. You have got a ready table for that. Risk management, what are the requirements, what are the experience requirements, knowledge requirements, architecture development. So they have given in detail what is it that you should be looking for. Operations, what is it that you should be looking for. Right. So now tell me, will this document be useful to you? Why? Will it supplement ISO 27001? Will it contradict ISO 27001? Does it do something which has very clear structured way? And then you realize everything, all 7 enablers are really required. Many of our information ISO 27001 certificates are blamed to be just a certificate, right? Naam ke vaste. Yeah. Auditor comes 1 week before that, you have got documentation ready. Auditor asks you questions based on the documentation. Does he look at the 7 enablers? He knows it, common sense wise, probably experience wise, we all know that these are required. Ethics, behavior, everything we know. But do we ask questions specifically, and does somebody give an NC because these things are not there? NCs are given for inadequacy in documents, but inadequacy in so many other points, and the implementation fails because inadequacy. Documentation is absolutely perfect, but nothing beyond that has percolated in the organization. Good. So any other question?
Awareness and training, have they given a guidance specifically? How do you go about doing?
Information security operations, I think they have not gone into the detail, but they, I think, have given details about information security awareness.
Because I thought that's the most fundamental step in bringing.
Yeah, in the information security operations, they have talked about the awareness. Because this is everything has been done, strategy and everything. Now you have to actually operate, and that's why you require people who know how to operate it.
One of the principles that information performance needs to be reported to the top management. When basic principle, IT performance needs to be reported to top management.
Is given in the principles here?
Provide timely and accurate information on information security performance.
Yeah.
Answer.
It doesn't say to whom.
Sorry. Timely and accurate information on information security. It doesn't name to whom.
Yeah, so see, that will come under your roles, responsibility, organizational structure. And there again we have talked about who should be report. If you report to CIO, what are the advantages, disadvantages. So you need to have that information. Who is going to act upon it? Who is accountable for that? Who is responsible? Who is informed? These are all structure given there. So even positioning of the person who is creating that information and reporting to somebody. Everywhere we say report to the chief executive officer. And they have very clearly said chief executive officer may not have the bandwidth, may not have the sort of understanding, may not give the importance. So that's a big disadvantage.
For this, not COBIT specific, but through your experience, is there any some sort of dashboard or templates? Means, for example, I know it will be organization or specific, it will be, but to give some light.
Whom the Chief Information Security Officer should report?
Format of any dashboard like templates. Just you said a CEO will not have a bandwidth for that.
Yeah.
But are there any, just like our blood report, what is the standard and what is the deviation?
Okay.
So
that's where you saw those information security, the information items.
Are they followed?
And in that information item, we had matrices. So that becomes the dashboard. You have got all items for which you need to have these documents available, and the matrices of evaluating, are you following that? That itself could become your dashboard. Yeah.
When we are implementing a process, one of the processes.
Yeah.
So we have a process goals or activity goals, right?
Yeah.
So for some of the goals, we have different metrics defined there as part of COBIT5.
I was just checking whether my cab has sent me an SMS. Now I can be relaxed.
Okay. So for each process goal or activity goal, we have different metrics defined or suggested here.
Yeah.
Say for a particular process, out of 4 goals, for example, take a sample. We have 4 goals defined. So out of that, I have used or I have implemented one metric and I have been tracking accordingly.
Yeah.
So does it say that, okay, I'm good with the process, or since I have not been monitored, I have not implemented to track those other 3 goals out of that? So what's the take? What's the recommendation from COBIT point of view? Do we need to?
Did you attend Rafiq's session yesterday?
Yes.
Process assessment model. So that's where it goes. Your processes, at which level they are.
Okay.
And if you have just done the implementation, it's level 1.
Okay. So
the same model works here.
Even for metrics. So if you're not tracking all those defined 4 or 5 out of that.
So tomorrow you are assessed on these processes and you are at level 1, you know exactly where you are.
Okay.
So same assessment model would apply here.
Okay. Got you. Thank you.
Right? Good? Yeah. We want to
enable one point. Say means this behavior and this thing we want to do.
Yeah.
But out of that 8-9 points, we find that the stakeholder buying is not there.
Yeah.
But then the other things we are able to do it. Then can we still say that we achieved the objectives of COBIT, or?
See, you remember that thing we talked about, lead indicators and lag indicators? So are the stakeholder needs are met, right? And if the stakeholder needs are not met, they are not even bothered about that. Yeah, and in stakeholders you have got the internal and external, and they are not even concerned about it. So then in that case, what is it that you have achieved by ignoring or not taking their buy-in? You have not been able to convince them. They are not looking at your, looking at what you have done, and they are not even expressing their needs. So that means there might be something when an incident occurs, something really goes drastically wrong. Then they will come back and say, why you never told us this? Right? For example, in banking, every customer is a external stakeholder. Banking has tremendous understanding of if the password policies are not met properly, what sort of disaster could happen. Customers are not bothered about that. So would you still say that your password policy and all those things are working very effectively? Because there could be incidents which happened because your external stakeholder never implemented the things that you had asked them to do. And that caused the incidents, and that created not achieving your goal of providing security of information to the customers. So they should have done it, they have not done it, and the blame will come to you that you have not sold the idea properly. They didn't know, they were ignorant about it. So customer buy-in is very, very important. And that's where you remember that in that behavior there was, you can even have not coercion, they have used a different term. Let me just quickly see. Influence through communication, enforcement, rules and norms. So have you communicated enough? If that is not effective, have you enforced? Password will not be accepted, it doesn't have these things. It will be changed every so many days. Have you created rules, norms, incentives, rewards, awareness, all of those things? You have to create that influencer so that you change the behavior and change the culture. But you can't give up, because if you give up, then somebody is ignoring whatever you are doing and all your other efforts are going to be wasted. You have all IDS, IPS, firewall, this, that, and customer just merely types anything, shares his password, has a phishing attack, 5 lakh rupees gone out of his account, and big news item, this bank has not implemented security policy well. And that's why there are such frauds happening. Right? Last session, last minute.
Mr. Avinash.